Hi everyone, my name is Brittany Ryan and here is my service learning presentation. So a little bit of background information prior to explaining my service learning project. The agency that I selected was the Ephrata Recreational Center. It was founded in 1951. It is a not-for-profit corporation to provide recreational services at a reasonable price. The mission and goals: to improve the quality of life by providing wholesome, affordable recreational opportunities to the citizens of the Ephrata area. The population that they serve is for every age, gender, and groups, and there is a little bit of descriptions of the services that they provide and the needs of the population. So the area of service that I selected was the Summer Kids Camp. I was a camp counselor. The summer camp was an 11-week-long program for ages 6 to 11. So why did I choose this type of population? Well, since I am a registered nurse and I work with the geriatric population, I wanted to switch it up and sort of focus on kids in order to challenge myself. So needs of the population and what the campers need. They need a leader, a role model, a mentor, safety, management of behaviors, teamwork, sportsmanship, and creativity. A little bit of background information on a service learning project. It was called Power Up Week. It was an educational opportunity for the kids provided by me in order to promote the importance of a healthy lifestyle, such as healthy eating, physical activity, and healthy bone growth. And like I said, since I work with the geriatric population, I see a lot of individuals that make poor health decisions that leads to chronic diseases such as heart disease, high cholesterol, and high blood pressure. When a healthy lifestyle is promoted at a young age, I believe that it can prevent future chronic diseases that can lead to even serious events such as heart attack or stroke. First, we'll go over the issues of the population, and first are social. The first two, divorce and death of a family member or a loved one, kind of were interrelated. Since the kids were home and it was summertime, they got to see a little bit of the issues at home. So divorce and death of a family member, when children are going through this, they don't eat right, they don't sleep. So I got to experience some of that with the kids throughout the summer. The next thing I noticed was bullying. Some of the kids didn't want to participate in some of the activities due to being made fun of, such as not being good enough at an activity. And then another social issue that I noticed was social and communication problems, since most of the kids communicate via cell phone. When something happened or they had an issue with someone, they would sort of lash out instead of talking. The next is political issues. When I first started thinking about this issue with the population, I was sort of confused, like children and political issues. Well, on the first day, one of the camp counselors pulled me over and they said, "Do you know that little boy right there?" And I said, "Yeah." They said, "Oh, well, he likes to be identified as a girl." So at first I didn't think anything of it, but then some of the kids started noticing when the girls were in the locker room. They said, "Oh, Brittany, that boy's in here." So that was an issue that I got to experience with the camp counselors. And then throughout the activities, I really tried to um, talk to the kids about accepting each other for who they are. And I know as a healthcare professional, that can be easy to say. So throughout the project, I tried to project to the kids about being healthy and accepting everybody. The next issue that I noticed for economic was decrease in family income. I especially ran into this issue when talking about the healthy food choices and physical activity with the kids. A lot of them said, "Well, my mom said that McDonald's is more cheap and we can't afford for me to play indoor lacrosse in the wintertime." So, like I discussed with my patients about using the farmers markets instead of the supermarkets, I went over that with the kids. And then for my patients, I talk about walking outside, and then same thing with the kids. I mentioned about picking up a jump rope or kicking a soccer ball outside. The next one is cultural, and I believe that kids are affected the most by the cultural issues, even at a young age. They are being more exposed to things, and they have to look a certain way or act a certain way in order to fit in, and this can increase the risk for anorexia or bulimia at a very young age, um, especially with negative body image. The next was media, whether it was Facebook, Instagram. A lot of the kids played with the social media on their phone or iPads, which can increase their exposure to bullying online or inappropriate videos that everybody has access to. And then increase in electronic usage. So this was one of the biggest issues walking into kids camp. A lot of the 6-year-olds had iPads or iPhones. Instead of wanting to participate in activities, they just wanted to sit down and play with their phones. So that eventually led me to my service learning project. So how was the project designed? Prior to the start of the project, I first observed the kids. When I noticed they were making bad food choices with their lunch, such as drinking soda, or they had a lot of chips, a lot of sweets. So that led to me and the camp advisor, Jan, to come up with Power Up Week. With the help of my 3 objectives, I spent 3 days with the kids going over healthy eating, physical activity, and the importance of drinking milk in their diet. Each day started out with an educational story and then finally ended with an activity. And then after the week was over, the next week, I decided to do a bingo game in order to find out what the kids learned about healthy lifestyle. How was the project implemented? So day 1 was called Crazy Colors. I decided I wanted to focus on fruits and vegetables for educating the campers on healthy eating. I first printed out a My Plate from choosemyplate.org to symbolize how much fruits and vegetables should be on a plate during a meal. I then decided I wanted to educate the campers on healthy eating choices with a book called What's So Yummy. So I first read that to the campers, which was about a bunch of friends going on a picnic, and then they decided to stop at a farmer's market in order to fuel their bodies for the rest of the day. After I read the book, I decided with the activity called Crazy Colors. I first created the worksheet by making a spreadsheet with a list of colors going down the page. I used the colors green, white, red, yellow, orange, purple, and blue with tiny boxes below, so that the objective of the game was the campers to list as many fruits and vegetables under the color in 3 minutes. So if you see here, in the PowerPoint slide, that is what the worksheet key looked like. So at the end, I was then able to go over the worksheet with the kids. I think the activity was really engaging. And then whoever could think of the most fruits and vegetables, they got a prize, which was a free smoothie from Tropical Smoothie. So day 2 was Be Physically Fit Your Way. I decided I wanted to create an activity that showed the importance of physical activity. I first read the book to the campers called My Amazing Body. The book was about physical fitness, which was explained the importance to younger kids. It promoted interacting between friends and teamwork. I then created the activity called Be Physically Active Your Way. What I decided to do is list a bunch of action words such as running, walking, jogging, galloping. I then placed them into papers and then into a bucket. I then decided I wanted to split the campers up into teams, and the objective was for each camper to pick up a piece of paper and do the action from the length of the basketball court and back, and then they had to tag the person in back of them. At the end, the campers won a prize, which was a free pass to swim at the Ephrata Rec Center. And the campers really, really enjoyed that. They thought it was really fun and engaging. Lastly, I wanted to create an activity that went over the importance of drinking milk with the campers. I first found a book called The Milk Makers. The book explained where milk comes from, what we eat and drink that comes from milk, and explained the importance behind it, such as growing big and strong bones. I first created a poster labeled Dairy Foods. What dairy foods did I eat yesterday? The poster had a bunch of foods on it, such as cheese, pudding, yogurt, and milk. And I asked the campers, I said, how many of you guys had dairy yesterday? And a lot of them just said, well, some of us don't drink milk. So that poster kind of explained what foods had dairy in it. The next thing I handed out was a paper of various food items, and there was an orange, bread, milk, cheese, and the campers had to pick out which foods were considered dairy. Finally, I handed out a paper that had a milkman, a store, a farm, and finally a cow, and then the object was for them to place the order of milk production. The activity really helped the campers understand where milk came from and the importance for healthy bone growth. So, project revisions and future considerations. The first revision that I had was adding the books to every day. First, I made all the activities and I was just going to simply explain to the kids the importance of healthy eating, drinking, and exercising, but then I realized, well, their attention span is probably so short that I probably would have lost their focus, so that's why I added the books to the project. So, for future reference, if I'm ever going to explain anything to kids, um, I have to realize that their attention span is short. It's not like giving a patient a paper explaining all their medications. And I know as healthcare providers, we're so used to just giving patients printed handouts. So here's a slide of my student objectives, and I'll go over those in future slides on how I met those objectives. So objective 1, I will illustrate at least 5 different types of fruits and vegetables to the campers between the ages of 6 to 11 after having them complete the Crazy Colors worksheet during Power Up Week in order to promote healthy eating by the end of camp. So after completing the Crazy Colors activity, I made a worksheet, like I said, with a key of all the different fruits and vegetables in their specific color category. At the end, I went over that with the campers, and I got very loud expressions of foods that they had no idea what they were. So as I got those expressions, I got my iPhone out and I showed the kids the pictures of the fruits and vegetables. So then at the end for the bingo game, I knew which fruits and vegetables to add. Most of them didn't know zucchini, honeydew cabbage, nectarines, pomegranates, eggplants, and so on. Objective 2, I will interpret at least 3 different activities such as walking, swimming, jump roping, soccer, basketball, etc. with the campers between the ages of 6 to 11 after having them complete the Be Physically Active Your Way activity during Power Up Week in order to promote the need of 60 minutes of physical activity a day by the end of the camp. So I got a little bit creative with this one. In the game, I did those actions, but the 3 that the kids really didn't know was crab walking, galloping, and karaokeing. Those were the 3 that I used for the bingo game. I interpreted the motion, and then the kids had the answer on their bingo card. So, objective 3, I will discuss at least 3 foods from the dairy food group with the campers between the ages of 6 to 11 after having them complete the story of the milk from the cow to the cup activity during Power Up Week in order to promote healthy bone growth by the end of camp. So prior to starting the objective, I asked the kids to raise their hand who had dairy yesterday, and the response was, oh, I hate milk, or we don't drink milk. So after reading the book, I used the handout of various foods, which ones are dairy, and the kids had to pick out which ones were dairy. So the answers were yogurt, cheese, pudding, and milk. So the obvious ones that I used for the game was yogurt, cheese, and pudding. Most of them had no idea that they were dairy. So how did the service learning project impact the given population? I thought about how an unhealthy lifestyle in children can cause lifelong diseases like the patients that I care for in the hospital, such as obesity, heart disease, high blood pressure, and type 2 diabetes. With society these days, children are surrounded with the negativity of a poor lifestyle choices, whether it's electronics and fast food restaurants for convenience, which I think labels them as a vulnerable population. I believe that educating children on the importance of a healthy lifestyle can promote future chronic diseases and stabilize their energy, maintain a healthy weight, and improve their minds. Children need that ongoing support for healthy growth and physical development. So how did the service learning project impact me personally? I had a lot of fun educating the kids about a healthy lifestyle. Most of the time when you're educating patients about healthy eating and exercise, their attitude is so different. So I had a really nice time educating the children. They were really excited to learn. So how did the service learning project impact me professionally? Completing this project made me realize how much I have to offer as a healthcare professional. We are able to touch the lives of so many people, whether it's children or adults, and we have a voice in the community to make a difference. Not even just the service learning project, but my BSN program overall has quickly made me come to terms of nursing not just as a job, but as a profession.